Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we'll be making this granny square skirt. So we'll be using a lightweight yarn, the red color, magenta color and a baby pink. So we'll be using a scissors and 4mm hook. So the first thing we're going to do is to make a magic ring. So in the magic ring we're going to crochet 3 chains which stand as our foundation chain. 3 chains. And remember our chain stand as a stitch in granny square. So make 2 extra double crochet with it, making it a cluster. So chain 2, make another cluster which is 3 double crochet. After that we are going to chain 2 again, 1 2, make another cluster. So to make our granny square we need to have 4 clusters in a magic ring. So that's what we're going to do here. So this is the third one. So we're done with it. So we're going to make 2 chains again before we make our last cluster. So we're going to make our last cluster now. 1 double crochet, make the second double crochet, then we'll make the third double crochet. Now after that we're going to chain 2. So chain 2, 1 2. So tighten up your magic ring and make a slip stitch into the first stitch of your granny square. Yeah, make a slip stitch. So now I've done the first row, so I go into the second row. So chain 4 now, and remember 3 stands as your foundation chain. So made extra 1, so go into the next angle, make a cluster, chain 2 in between, and make another cluster into the same space. Yes, into the same chain space. So now we're going into the next angle now. So before we go into the next angle, you chain 1, go into the next angle, make a cluster, 2 chains, and another cluster in the same chain space, making 2 clusters in the same chain space that has 2 chains in between. So make the last cluster, and before we go into the next angle, remember you're going to chain 1. So now chain 1 1, so make the same 2 clusters and 2 chains in between into the next angle. So we are at the third angle now, and we're going into the fourth one. Yes, so make a chain, so go into the next angle and make a cluster first. So after this cluster, chain 2. I remember I said something that your foundation chain count as a stitch here. As you can see, we have a foundation chain there, so we're just going to make 2 double crochet to join with the foundation chain to count as a cluster. So we're going to make a slip stitch. So now we're done with the second row. So we want to change the color. Now we're going to cut off the yarn and change our color to the next one. So now we're proceeding to the next step, which is securing the tail of our first yarn, the yarn we first used. So we're going to secure it by tightening it up twice. Then we proceed to add in the magenta color. So we insert the hook in its space, then make 4 chains using a magenta color. So you can make your slip knot before you insert it, or you insert it the same way. So we're going to make 4 chains, then we proceed to an angle beside the space and make a cluster. So after that, after making a cluster, I'm going to chain 2, 1 2, then make another cluster in the same space, the same chain space. Then now we are going to proceed to the side of our granny square. Yes, but before that we're going to chain 1, then we proceed to the side and make a cluster there. So double crochet. So can you see we are on row 3, make another double crochet, making a cluster. You're going to chain 1, then proceed to making a cluster, 2 chains and a cluster. Yes, at the angle. at the angle. So now make 2 chains and a cluster at the angle. So into the side of our granny square again. After you are done with making our cluster at the angle, you chain 1, then we proceed to the side. Yes, we're going to insert and make a cluster there again. So after making that cluster, we're going to chain 1. Remember, always chain 1 before you make a cluster at the side or at the angles. So now I'm at the end of our granny square. So make just 2 double crochet and join it with our foundation chain. Remember I said foundation chain counts in granny square. So now we've completed this 3rd row of our granny square. So now we continue with the same color because we're making use of each colors twice, like in 2 rows. So we're going to make 4 chains now. I'm going to go into the angle and continue with the same way we've been doing it, which is a cluster, 2 chains, and a cluster at the angles. So when you're going to the side, you're going to make a chain before you go to the side. Remember. So when you're done with this cluster now, you're going to make a chain before you go into the side of your granny square. 1 chain, you make a cluster and go into it, make a cluster, then make a chain afterwards and go into your angle again. Yes, so we have 2 sides at this stage. So after that, you're going to go into your angle. So can you see? So you continue like that. So I'll meet you at the end. So now at the end, we're going to chain 1 and go into that next space. So I'm going to make 2 double crochet only and add it with our foundation chain, which will make a cluster now. So this is how to make the granny square for this outfit. So I'm going to make more pieces of this. So I'm going to make more pieces of this and I'll come back and show you guys the next step. So guys, I crocheted more pieces of this granny square. So let's count them now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I made 12 granny squares. So we're going to proceed to the next step now. Well, at the next step, we're going to pick up a granny square. I'm going to add red color of yarn. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make a slip knot. So after making a slip knot, we're going to insert it at the angle of our granny square. So at this angle, we're going to insert it, make 3 chains. We're going to crochet 3 chains with 2 double crochet, so making it a cluster. And always remember your foundation chain counts as a stitch in granny square. So you're going to secure your tail and going to complete that cluster. So after completing the cluster, you're going to chain 1 and go into the side of our granny square. So make a cluster there. So after that, you're going to chain 1, go into the next space at the side of our granny square and make a cluster again. So after that, we're going to go into the last side of our granny square. So we'll keep on doing this till we get to this angle. So I'll meet you guys there. So now guys, we're at this angle. So I'm going to pick up our new granny square. So we're going to chain 1, yarn over our hook, then insert it at the angle of the second square. So this method is used in joining our squares together. So I'm going to make a cluster in that angle. So after the cluster, I'm going to chain 1. So I'm going to go into the space between your clusters and insert your yarn and chain 1. So you're going to yarn over again, go into the next space in your new granny square, I mean your second one. So make a cluster again. So chain 1, go into the next space in your first granny square and insert your yarn. Chain 1 and go into the next space again and make a cluster. So just follow up what I'm doing now. You won't make a mistake. It's very simple. So after making a cluster, chain 1, go into the next space there, insert your yarn and chain 1, and go into your next space on your second granny square and make a cluster again. So after making the cluster, chain 1 again and go into the next space on your first granny square, make a chain. So go into the last space, which is your angle, make a cluster. So when you're done making a cluster, go into the space, make a chain, go into the space, yes, and your angle on your first square and make a chain again. So when you're done making a chain, go into the same chain space, which is your angle on your second granny square, and make a cluster again. So now we've made another cluster there. So I'm going to chain 1 and go into the side of our granny square. So we're going to keep crocheting till we get to the side of our granny square. So I'm going to show you guys now. So I'm going to keep crocheting the same thing we crochet there till we get to this side. I'm going to meet you guys there. So guys, I'm there already. I'm going to make my last cluster, so which is 3 double crochet. So when I'm done making the last cluster now, I'm going to proceed into adding the third granny square. Remember, the same way we added the second one is the same we're going to add the third one. So chain 1, yarn over your hook, then you insert into this. So yarn over your hook now, then insert into the angle of your third granny square. So you keep using the same process, which is making a cluster and chain 1 and insert it into the space of your granny square, the one you made before. So just follow the first step I did. Yes, the same way. So make chain 1 and go into your next space, make a cluster. So it's the same way we did this second one that we're going to do this third one. So I'm going to add up to 6 granny square in this first stage. So we're going to add up to 6. Remember I said we did 12 granny squares. So I'm going to add 6 altogether now. So just follow the same method, which is making your cluster, chain 1. Yeah, make a cluster, chain 1 and insert it into your cluster, into the in between the clusters of the granny square you made before. Chain 1 and make your cluster again. So you keep repeating these processes to add up to 6 granny square. So I'll meet you guys there now. So guys, I've added all my 6 granny squares together. So this is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So can you see I stopped at that angle. I didn't crochet all the way down. I stopped there. So can you see? So I'm going to turn it upside down now. So we're going to continue. So can you see? I stopped at that side at the 6th. Yes, I stopped there at the 6th granny square. The reason why I stopped there is because I wanted to join this row together. So to join that row together now, so I'm going to chain 1. So it's just the same way I've been adding a granny square since. It's the same way I'm going to join this together. So after I chain 1 now, I'm going to, can you see? I need the same angles. Remember, in the angles we're going to make 2 clusters. So before that, I'm going to insert it in that space. I'm going to make a chain. So I'm going to proceed to making the second cluster in the same chain space. So this method is used to join our granny squares together. Can you see now? It's just the same way we've been joining our granny squares together. We're going to join them together here. So make a chain. Then go into the space in between your clusters. Make a chain over there. Then you proceed to making another cluster at the side of your granny square. So we keep on doing this. So after making this, make a chain again, go into this space in between your clusters, the one you've done. So proceed to making another cluster again. So we keep on doing this till we get a very defined granite square. So can you see? So we're going to keep on doing this till we get to the edge of our granite square. So I'm going to show you guys the next step, the next step we're going to do now. So proceed to make this, complete this. So make a chain and go into the next space in between your clusters. So make a chain, then make the last cluster on this row. So when you made the last cluster on this row now, so now we are going to crochet all the way around those spaces in which we didn't have any red color. Can you see? Those lines. So we're going to proceed to make another cluster at that angle. So make 2 chains and make your cluster at that angle. Remember, you're making 2 chains before you make this cluster. Because so you chain 1. So can you see now that we are already at the angle? So you're going to make 2 clusters at that angle. But you're going to make 2 chains. After that cluster, you make 2 chains before you make the next cluster. So you're going to keep on making all these clusters all the way around. So it's just the same way we're making our clusters. So chain 1, make this cluster. So after you make a cluster, you chain 1. You make a cluster, you chain 1. So I'm going to go on like this till I get to that tip in which we added the second granite square. So I'm going to show you guys how to close up those areas. So guys, we are at the angle of our granite square now. So we're going to make a cluster. Remember, at the angles of our granite square, we always have 2 clusters and chains in between. So now you are going to chain 1. So in that space, we're going to insert our hook and make a slip stitch. So you're going to chain 1 and make another cluster in the next chain space. Here's one we have our first cluster. That place also represents the angle of the second granite square. So you're going to chain 1 and proceed to making a cluster by the side again. So we keep on making our clusters and chains all the way until we get to that point. So at that point now we've made our last cluster. So we are going to make a chain now, chain 2, and make a slip stitch. So after making that, we want to close up this, so we're going to insert in the space in between our clusters there and make a slip stitch. So we're going to chain 1. Can you see? So after chaining that 1 now, we're going to yarn over our hook and we're going to proceed to adding a new set of granite square. The same way we'll be doing all those ones. So make a cluster. So after making a cluster, make a chain. So we're going to, can you see the way I'm placing it? So I'm going all the way around into that space, into that side. So I'm going to insert my yarn and make a chain. So I continue adding my cluster till I get to the tip of my square, which is the edge of my granite square. So at the edge of my granite square, I'm going to make a cluster again. So after making this cluster, I'm going to show you guys where to join it. So make a chain. So you see this space, you're not going to add it there. No. But you see the one in between your clusters, yes, at the edge of that next granite square, you're going to make is, yes, you're going to make a chain. Then you continue making the next. Can you see it now? Not that one, but that next one. You're going to continue making your cluster in that same space. So you're going to crochet all the way around at that side. So at that side, keep crocheting, making your clusters. So keep on doing your clusters till you finish up that line beside your granite square. Yeah, the side of that granite square. So now we've made our last cluster here at that side. So we're going to make a chain. So it's time for us to add the next granny square. So we're going to make a cluster at that space, at that angle. So can you see? So after making that, we are going to chain 1. So we already know how to join our granny square now. So can you now see? I'm going to join it all the way at that side, that exact side in which I crochet. Can you see? I'm going to crochet it and join it all the way till I get to that point there. So when I get there, I'm going to show you guys what to do again. So let's just keep crocheting now. So guys, I'm at that point. So now let me show you how to join this next granny square with the ones we've done before. So after making a cluster at that angle, just a cluster and a chain, you see this space. This is where we want to join. And that one, we join that one to the other side. We're going to join this one to this other side. So this is where we want to make. We're going to join it. Can you see now? So insert it at the space in between. Yeah, can you see in between? Yes. So I'm going to insert and yarn and make a chain. So after making a chain, we continue making a cluster. So make another cluster in that same space, which is the angle. So after making a cluster now, we make a chain. Can you now see that we have to walk down there? So we're going to keep on joining a granny square with this next one. So we're going to insert iron, make a chain. So continue making our clusters on the new granny square. Okay, can you see now? Keep on joining it. So join it again. So we keep on doing this till we join our all squares. Can you see all our squares? Those 6 squares that we have left. We keep on doing this till we join them all. So now I'm done joining these squares all together. So can you see that it's looking so nice and beautiful? So now I want to make the band. So I'm making this band off camera. I'm going to make the front and back loop band. Yes, the front and back loop band I'm going to use. So I'm going to make the band now. Come back and show you guys how it looks like. So guys, I've crocheted the back and front loop band and I've inserted my lace. Can you see? Like it's looking so nice and beautiful. I've inserted my lace, the lace of the band, just to secure the skirts. Can you not see? My skirt is ready. So thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope you love it. I hope you learned 1 or 2. Please remember to subscribe, share and comment. So for the top of this skirt, it's available in my next video. Thank you and God bless you.